The first warning came from General Threx during a closed council session. His posture was rigid, his voice grave as he projected sensor footage across the Grand Chamber. The images showed human patrol vessels, not moving along their standard trade arcs, but consolidating in silence. There were no broadcasts, no diplomatic signals, only a quiet, ominous shift in formation that screamed preparation, not patrol. Threx stated the pattern was deliberate. He reminded the council that humans did not posture. They acted. He brought up the last great conflict, a war humans joined late but ended in a fraction of the expected time. He argued that provoking them during the current delicate negotiations would trigger a swift, decisive strike, but the council dismissed him. They called his warning paranoia, the ramblings of a man who'd spent too long on the frontier. They foolishly believed humanity lacked the numbers to threaten their vast coalition. A firm hand, they said, was needed to pressure the human diplomats into concessions. Tension escalated when a coalition frigate, puffed up with arrogance, intercepted a human courier ship near the neutral ring. The frigate hailed with an authority it didn't possess. The courier's response was chillingly direct. "Stand down." The frigate captain, blinded by hubris, ignored the warning and ordered a forced inspection. Footage later showed a silent, instantaneous flash as the coalition frigate lost all power. The ship simply drifted, dead in space. No fires, no hull breaches. Justa then total failure across every single system. The council, in their infinite wisdom, blamed a catastrophic malfunction. But Threx knew better. He recognized intent. The human response was as swift as it was unnerving. They immediately withdrew from all diplomatic channels. Their border gates sealed shut. All civilian traffic ceased. Coalition analysts, ever the optimists, interpreted this as a defensive stance, a sign of fear. Threx, however, understood it for what it truly was, the final, terrifying stage of readiness. He attempted to confront the council one last time, his voice filled with an urgency they refused to hear. He emphasized that humans always moved with purpose, that their silence was the most reliable indicator of impending action. The council refused to even convene an emergency response. Their arrogance had sealed their fate. The first strike fell on the Varlin anchorage, the nerve center for the coalition's long-range patrols. Without any warning, every single tracking node in the region failed. Ships lost navigation. Communications collapsed into static. When emergency channels were finally reconnected, the anchorage was simply gone. 32 ships drifted aimlessly where the massive station once operated. There was no debris, no radiation, no evidence of any conventional attack. Only a profound and unsettling absence. Then, a single transmission from human command reached every coalition capital. It said, "Violation acknowledged. Retaliation executed. Further interference will be addressed." There were no threats, no demands, just a cold, hard declaration of a completed action. The coalition fleets scrambled, dispersing across strategic zones in a panic. Their captains expected a massive barrage, a grand fleet assault, something they could fight, but no such attack came. Instead, the war happened in the shadows. Human operatives, ghosts in the machine, infiltrated their supply corridors. Defense satellites shut down without any visible tampering. Fuel depots mysteriously lost pressure. Command hubs found their most encrypted archives completely wiped. Entire logistical lines were disassembled with a clean, surgical precision that was utterly terrifying. The coalition was being taken apart, piece by piece, without a single shot being fired. Threx watched each report unfold, a grim satisfaction in his eyes. He explained to his bewildered staff that humans didn't just fight wars, they dissected them before they even began. He stated bluntly that the coalition was already defeated. They just hadn't realized it yet. When his officers desperately asked if any countermeasure existed, he gave a single, chilling answer. None. Humans had removed the coalition's ability to coordinate, to think, to even fight back. The war was over before the first battle had even been imagined. The council, finally humbled, attempted to sue for talks. The human diplomats accepted without ceremony. They met in a neutral chamber, their expressions unreadable. They spoke plainly, their words devoid of posturing. Interference with human vessels will not recur. Coalition officials, still clinging to their old ways, tried to negotiate, to haggle. The humans simply ignored them, insisting only on clear boundaries. They provided detailed maps showing the revised neutral zones, delivering them not as requests, but as statements of fact. The council signed. There was no bargaining, no debate. The terms were surprisingly non-aggressive, designed for stability. The outcome appeared simple, almost generous, yet the message beneath it was unmistakable, etched into the very fabric of the new treaty. Humanity did not seek expansion, but they would respond without hesitation when provoked. General Threx resigned immediately after the treaty was signed. He left the council chamber without a word of farewell. Later, he explained to his loyal aides that his warnings hadn't been strategic analysis. They had been statements of fact. The coalition, he told them, survived this encounter for one reason, and one reason only. Because humans chose containment, not conquest. He left them with one final, haunting statement. A truth that would echo through the halls of power for generations. Never, ever mistake human restraint for weakness. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content just like this. See you in the next one.